Hello, everyone. Welcome to this slightly chilly. We're cold.
But isn't it all the time cold?
Yeah,
here?
but I feel like it's really cold
Fortunately,
today.
we have this blanket that on sale.
That's right.
Let's take it out of the wrapping.
I would not let you take it out of the wrapping as we get ready for show 30, because we are at game 30 for the Winnipeg Jets as they continue this homestand with the Boston Bruins here in town. Of course, one of only 2 meetings between these clubs this season. We've got about half dozen or so games left before the holiday break.
Who's counting?
That's right. But Boston in town, part of that crazy Eastern Conference. I mean, we talk about, you could look at it divisional, but beyond the Atlantic Division, I mean, just the East in general has been crazy so far this season. So looking forward to having Andrew Raycroft, former NHL goaltender, but NESN analyst, a host of a number of podcasts as well, join us shortly. He'll be joining us in about 10 minutes. So we'll hear from Dylan DeMelo, who I caught up with earlier as well.
He likes the snow. Hey, Dylan likes driving through the snow and everything.
For it, yeah. He and I were lamenting.
It's been so easy to get around the city these days.
How long it was taking us to get into the rink today. So he very quickly came out after morning skate to say, look, it's going to take me 20 extra minutes to get home. So we got to get a move on this.
And you can get a blanket, Dylan, if you get cold out there.
There you go. Yeah. Great to see so many of you in the chat already. Always love to be able to see you guys and to hear from you as well. So looking forward to this next 30 minutes, but the Jets did not get obviously the result that they wanted when this homestand started on Tuesday against the Dallas Stars, but
it looked better.
I was going to say, did you like overall what you saw?
Well, of course, because whatever had transpired in Edmonton on Saturday, there's like an easy place to go up from there. So, I mean, and then you give up that goal 44 seconds in. That didn't help. Did not like the penalty call on Morgan Barron at the end of the first period. Especially with the penalty kill being where it is right now, it's just not in a good place. But like outside of the shorthanded situations, the Jets, I thought, tilted the ice a lot into Dallas's end, especially 5-on-5. They like owned Dallas, and it just, even they fall behind 3-0, it just felt eventually they're going to tie it up, even when it's 4-2. Logan Stanley scores, makes it 4-3. I'm like, they're going to tie this up. That's what this is going to happen.
Yeah, it reminded me, and love to hear from fans that are watching right now, if you felt that this reminded you more of what we saw last season. This looked like Winnipeg Jets hockey that we have seen in recent times. And I always say that last season, even when the Jets were down by a couple of goals in a game, you never felt that they were out of it. And that was long before the but just throughout the regular season, they were always in it. They always kept pressing. And even though you're not going to win every game, they always gave you the sense that they had the chances were there. Yeah. And that's certainly what I thought we saw in that game against Dallas. And what a positive sign that I hope, and I had said this to someone the other day, that I was doing an interview and I said that, I kind of looked at that game against Buffalo because as how maybe that was the turning point. But you wondered right after the game because they had the player only meeting. And so, that's one of those moments where you could, in theory, at the end of a season, look back and go, oh, okay, this was a defining moment for them. And I wonder if...
And then Edmonton happened.
Yeah. So then that went by the wayside. So, but I wonder if a game like what we saw against the Stars, we might look back on it in March, in April, and say, okay, this was the turning point. This is where we saw them get back to what they were usually like.
I think I went back to what Mark Scheifele said on Saturday after the game in Edmonton, or it was just that 2 days off between games. And they had the travel day on Sunday, obviously off, and then they practiced again on Monday. But the 2 days between games was big. And the practice was big on Monday because you're working on things that haven't been working for you. So for them to play the way that they did, and in particular Scheifele and Kyle Connor, it was just, I think the 2 days between games was huge for them, and to have that and then to put into work what you had worked on in practice the day before. But that was as close to the Jets that I saw last year this year, if that makes any sense.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And we saw changes to every forward line in that game. And so we're not sure what we're going to see today in terms
Arnie's being sneaky.
He is. So there are no projected lines to show because we aren't Sure, yesterday was an optional skate, so obviously no line rushes there. And then this morning, that's it, trying to keep the cards, I guess, close to the vest. There were no line combinations or line rushes shown. So we're not sure whether or not we're going to see what we saw against the Dallas Stars. Will there be some other adjustments? What we do know is that there will be at least one because Gus Nyquist draws back in.
Yeah, Gus talked to the media very quickly today, and he's been a healthy scratch for the last 4 games. So clearly in a frustrating spot. So you can feel for Nyquist for this reason. Last year in Nashville, that was a team that was supposed to take off. And then it was like nothing.
Everything went
wrong. And he pointed out there's a lot of similarities between the Jets' bottom 3 lines and the Nashville's bottom 3 lines last year were just having a lot of times or having struggles putting the puck in the net. So he clearly frustrated by not playing. Any veteran player would be that. And he said one of the things he's looking to do is shoot the puck a little bit more tonight. So no idea where they're going to slot him in that aspect, but you got to feel for a veteran guy that was brought here to provide offense, guy that's 2 years removed of 70 points. So hopefully that he gets going. Because I thought we saw some signs of what Gus Nyquist is right before he became a healthy scratch.
Right. So, confidence, I think, across the board, it's impossible, regardless of if you're a veteran player. I think that when you start going through the slumps or you're brought out as a healthy scratch, it's the first time in his career that he's had to deal with that. Confidence becomes a storyline and something that you've got to continue to work at. That was certainly something that we discussed about the team as a whole going into the game against Dallas. And it was something that Cole Perfetti was asked about yesterday because, of course, Perfetti has struggled to find the back of the net as well.
Right. And he's coming back from that high ankle injury, and it hasn't been easy. And he talked about that at length as well. But it's just about, he's gone through this before. Like, there wasn't a lot of time. He had this earlier in his career, and he thought that's something he can lean on of how he handled it and how he can handle it better. Talked about this yesterday.
You never want to go through this. You never want to go, it's going to happen throughout your career. And, lucky enough or unlucky enough, I'd been through it before in the past. And, you learn a lot about yourself and a lot about yourself as a player and person, how you deal with this kind of stuff. And it's all just really, a mindset. It's you keep doing the same thing. It's not like you got worse as a hockey player. It's just, sometimes the puck bounces for you, sometimes it doesn't. And trying to keep that confidence is something that, I learned throughout. I think that first year when I went through it, I think.
Staying positive, staying upbeat. He's been through this before, and hopefully you learn from your lessons in the past. For him, it's I always talk about when you don't have the puck, what are you doing to get yourself, one, into position to maybe recover it, or two, get yourself open to get a place, being closer to the net, whatever it might be, different things like that, but also making sure that, you're doing the right things defensively and making sure that, you're playing in the opposite end of the rink, not down in our end of the rink. And so I know that's a line combination. It's also 5 guys on the ice, but he has something that he can add every shift, and it's really find a way.
And it really is. Find a way to get some offense going. So I think with a high ankle sprain, it's very complicated because Cole talked about this. It's always in the back of your mind. Can I lean on it? Can I get leaned on in the corners? So you can understand the mental battle that he's going through is on top of the physical part of his game that he's trying to get going.
Yeah. And look, you got to find a way, a line that has continued, or at least a pair that have continued to find the way, regardless of what game it is, and it appears to be regardless of who is on the line with them, is Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele. And did Scott Arniel ever rely on them heavily? Kyle Connor over 25 and a half minutes. Mark Scheifele leading the way with 25 minutes, 47 seconds.
Josh Morrissey played
Josh Morrissey was 26 and a half minutes. So he certainly had to rely very heavily on his top players. And that's something that you don't want to do against a Boston Bruins team. And it's never ideal anyways, but it's something you don't want to do against a Bruins team that rolls 4 lines.
And then Scott Arniel talked about this yesterday as well. The reason why there was an optional skate was because the players that played a ton on Tuesday gave him some time off the ice. Here's Scott Arniel again on that very subject.
Obviously, you don't want to do something like that, but that was a game that we really wanted bad, and that's why Scheifele line was going over in a lot of situations as well. And it's not something you can do for 82 games, and as much as some of those players would like to. But this schedule too, in the sense of, now we're going every other day type thing, it certainly helps it a little bit. So kind of at that moment, that was why we were doing it, especially in the third, really pushing those guys heavy.
So I mean, there's some good news. We talked about some good things here about where the games returning for a lot of players. The team is looked a lot more like themselves on Tuesday night. You know, Kyle and Mark are continuing to produce. You need some more out of Perfetti, but there's some even better news yesterday, because we've been talking about Connor Hellebuyck for a while now, and when is he going to come back, and how's this going to look? Well, there he was yesterday.
Well,
on the ice.
And there he was today as well. I mean, he was out there. When I went out to go do the interview with DeMelo, it was around 11 o'clock, and we're joking that we've never seen Connor Hellebuyck on the ice at 11 o'clock, whether he was starting or not. So another very positive sign for it. And Darren Dreger reported today that he is getting very close to returning. So Dreger's last report from the Board of Governors meeting with their insider trading, that was that he wasn't going to be available. They didn't think for this weekend, but look for it next week. So that's ahead of schedule. And as we know, I mean, the Winnipeg Jets very much need to have Connor Hellebuyck back in net. And that's not taking anything away from Eric Comrie or anyone else. I mean, Thomas Milic is the only other one that's been in net, but there is no comparison when you're talking about a Hart Trophy winner and a 3-time Vezina. And some of those saves that the team hasn't always been helping Comrie, but you just look, and there have been a few instances where you go, okay, just with the level of play that Hellebuyck has and the level of goaltender that he is, would he have been able to make that one extra save that maybe you need? And
especially with the struggles the way they are now, that's automatically something that goes to the back of your minds. Somebody knows a little bit about goaltending in the National Hockey League. Our next guest, our only guest, Andrew Raycroft from Nesson of the show. How you doing, Andrew?
Wonderful. How's everyone there?
Very good. Thank you very much. Lots of things we want to get to about the Bruins, but can you kind of touch on the importance of someone like Connor Hellebuyck, from, you're a guy that played the position as you did, but what the Jets are kind of missing in that aspect? And is there something in the back of their minds like, oh man, if Helly was here, what would this look like? Is that something that goes through a player's mind?
Yeah, unfortunately, for Eric Comrie, it does. And I think when a guy of that magnitude gets taken out of the lineup for more than just a week or 2 weeks, and if the team's not clicking on all cylinders, instead of fixing the problem that really might be the issue, it's easy for the guys somewhere in the back of their mind. Of course, not overtly, of course, not talking to anyone in the media, but somewhere in their brain is, well, man, Helly would have bailed us out tonight, and then we would have won 4 in a row. So that's always there, and that's, the reality of the league is that's why Connor Hellebuyck makes $8 million a year. That's why the Carey Prices of the world made $10 million a year. That's Bobrovsky down the line. They just do it a little bit differently, and that's the beauty of pro sports. Some guys are starters and some guys are backups.
I mean, goaltending obviously has been the storyline here, and more so because of the injury. But how about in Boston? How much has goaltending been talked about?
It's been solid all year, right from the start. Even when the Bruins lost 6 in a row in November, the guys were pretty good. Korpisalo had a really good October. He was probably the better goalie. And then November and the start of December here, Jeremy Swayman's been on an absolute tear. He's 9-3 in his last 12. Save percentage is up around 928 to 930. So he's really taking on the Olympic year, and now with Hellebuyck out, there's even more of an opportunity for him in the United States net, possibly when they get to Milano. But again, the goaltending for the Bruins have been very good from both guys, especially recently.
Hey, listen, the Bruins wouldn't be where they are today without some great coaching. Can you speak to the job that Marco Sturm has done in his first full year as the coach?
It's been impressive, and I played with Marco, so I know what kind of a person he is and what kind of character, and for those 2 reasons alone, I thought he was a great hire for the Boston Bruins, just knowing what he's about, how detailed he is, and how committed to the game he is. I was curious what it was going to look like, as it is for all first-time NHL coaches, when you get punched in the mouth and when you have to make adjustments, because that's what this league is all about. It's the adjustments day to day, not only from what your opponents are doing, but what your team's doing and what your team's good at doing this week and possibly not so good this week at not doing well. So him going through that first wins the first 3 games, everything's perfect. Then go out and lose 6 games in a row, 7 of 8. It felt like at times no one knew what they were doing on the ice. It felt like in the defensive zone at times no one knew where they were supposed to be. But he stayed committed through all of it. He was very, very convicted in how he wants to play. He explained that to the players, and they got through it, and it resonated. Then they went on the run, and now they've been back and forth with some key guys out of the lineup and just, really doing a great job treading water. And their structure looks great now. They're not giving up as much as they were earlier in the year defensively. So again, what kind of a person that coach is, but watching him navigate the first 31 games, he's done a great job, and he stayed, like I said, I think the main word is convicted in how he wants his team and how he thinks they can win the best.
We always like to keep an eye on players that from Manitoba, and Morgan Geekie is one of them. What is it that has impressed you most about him?
He's awesome. He's from coming over to the Bruins. He had a good season the first year. Then last season in November, and this is what's really, I said this all of last season. What really impressed me was him being healthy scratched. 3-4 games in November. Things were not going well for him. He couldn't find his place in the lineup with Jim Montgomery. And he worked through all of that. Head down, never complained, just put his time in. And as a restricted free agent, that's not the easiest thing to do when you start wondering if you're going to be in the league next year, if I don't score any goals or if I don't get my way back in. But he was patient and hardworking. And as soon as he went with David last year, they had instant chemistry, and now he's been able to show off his shot. It really, for me, it just comes down to his shot. He has vision, he has hockey sense, but 13 of his first 20 goals were scored from mid-range or long range, which it just tells you how he's able to beat goaltenders at the National League level with his release and with his shot that most other guys can't, and that's the differentiator for Morgan.
Andrew, you play the game, you're around a lot of the players in the league. The beginning part of this year, a lot of the conversation with regards to the Olympics, who's going to make the team and what's going to look like. Now it's become more about the ice surface and if the rink's going to be ready. In your opinion, the guys you've talked to in the Bruins dressing room, are the Olympics worth it?
I think the Olympics are worth it to all players. It was that way when I was in the league, and I don't think it's changed. I think you know that when you see how the collective bargaining has gone, where they needed that back in. They were willing to give something up on the other side, but they wanted it bargained into the agreement. I think for the players, they really aren't concerned about the length of the ice or when it's going to be ready. They have the Olympic experience. They want to have their families have the Olympic experience and just imagine the opportunity to go to Milano, go to Cortina, bring your family with you, play some hockey at the highest of levels, but also have them experience all of that. Have them go to the ski jumping and have them go to the downhill events and the bobsledding. And it's just a once in a lifetime opportunity. And as Canadians, we all know what that means for your legacy. And to be on those teams and have if you have a gold medal from Team Canada, that's as good as it really gets forever. And that's why the players want it so badly.
Do you see the hockey being at the level that we saw at Four Nations last year, or even higher for that matter?
That's a good question. It's going to be different. We're not getting 3 fights in over it. The double IHF refs' heads will be spinning off of their bodies if that starts happening. So I think you're going to lose some of that. Like that made it special. That's what made Four Nation was those 5-10 seconds where that happened and everybody took notice. So you're not going to get that. But I think anytime you get the entire planet's best players on the ice together, you're going to have a story. You're going to have something. And it might not be from Canada and the United States. It can easily be from Sweden or Finland. It really stinks Russia's not there, because that always is that third rail that really brings something out. Then you always have a rivalry game. There's always a storyline. So it stinks without having the Russians there. But certainly there's going to be storylines. But certainly different than the Four Nations.
Listen, man, thanks for dropping by. I really appreciate your insight on a lot of things. Keep going, keep having a lot of fun. Hopefully the Bruins keep chugging along here, and we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Hey,
Merry
same
Christmas.
to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Andrew Raycroft joining us. I love ex-goaltenders because of what's going on here. And I really liked his perspective on kind of sometimes a little bit of excuses that creep in the back of your head on that one. And I also I need to know, like we've heard so much. Gary Bettman was here yesterday with Bill Daly.
Yeah.
Just about, I know the struggles that are going on in Italy with the rink and the ice and stuff like that. So it's good to point home or hammer home how important it is to the players that they still go to the Olympics in this situation.
Yeah, I think exactly as Razor said, that you wouldn't find, you're hard pressed to find a player that would have the opportunity to go that wouldn't want to. And
I never thought about the family part of it and going to other events. I never thought of that. I thought it was just the hockey part, but I thought that was a very interesting perspective.
Well, I saw, I want to say it was the Redeem Team. I don't know if you ever watched that. It was a documentary on Netflix, and it was about the Team USA men's basketball team.
Really good.
Loved it. But it was talking about, so that one was focused on when Kobe Bryant joined the team and how they were battling back after losing and the previous Olympics. But it was about, they spoke a lot about the importance of embracing the Olympic events and the Olympic experience and how much it meant to all of them and what it did for them, not only as a team, but just in general to really be a part of it. And that struck me because that's the only time I've really seen that in a documentary. We haven't seen hockey players talk about it to the same extent, but I think that would certainly be true.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. So thank you to Andrew for joining us. Great stuff.
Yeah, and the East, I mean, he mentioned about how Jeremy Swayman's been fired lately. It was something that Scott Arniel spoke about getting ready to face the Bruins. And just in general, when you look at this Bruins team and the success that they have had lately, but this is the crazy East where, you think about how the West is, and there's a number of teams that are still in it, and it's clogged up around that wild card, those two wild card spots. But in the East, one day you could be second in your division or first in your division, and the next day you could be outside of the playoff picture completely. It's very tough.
And that's what's going to make it interesting going down the stretch here. And you keep waiting for that separation to happen. The East, it has not happened. And you heard Andrew talk about Boston's problems right off the top of the season. So to start the way they did and then drop off, but they're fighting their way back in that situation. Speaking of Scott Arniel, let's hear from him again on facing the Bruins tonight.
Obviously, they made the coaching change. Real complete team. Play a real good 200-foot game right now. They're playing a real good 200-foot game. They're really rolling their four lines, getting good goaltending, really getting good goaltending. And, they have their sort of craziness in the East, all those teams that are clumped together. And, very desperate team that's, has to try and really stay in that hunt for, spots. So, they just won. One didn't beat a Devils team, beat St. Louis twice, and so a good hockey team. We have to make sure that we're prepared tonight.
So, if they play, I'm talking about the Jets, the way they did against Dallas, we're gonna have a heck of a hockey game tonight, and hopefully outside of that early goal that they gave up. But I still love the fact that even when they were down 3-0, they just did not stop. And I know it's very similar to the game they played against Dallas to start the year. But, man, if they keep looking like the way they did the other night, hopefully outside of Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor having to play 25 minutes, I think you're in for a heck of a game tonight.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that I asked Dylan DeMelo about when I caught up with him on the bench. Okay, Dylan, the homestand continues. Obviously didn't get the result that you were looking for from the game against Dallas the other night. But when you look at the way that the team played as that game went on, is that more the style of game that you were looking to see from this group that will lead to the wins in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. That's how we want to play. Thought we controlled the majority of that game. They were, I think, opportunistic on their chances. Obviously, they scored on their power plays. There's things that we can work on, but there was a good blueprint there for success for our group.
So when you think of that blueprint, can you give me some things that you thought you guys did well?
Yeah, I thought we did a really good job in the O zone of holding on the pucks. If it was going low to high or changing sides in the O zone or attacking the net, I thought we had some really good looks. We were good. I think being above them and in the neutral zone, making it hard for them. We didn't give up too many rush opportunities. Things that have been our calling card in the past, and things that we've done for glimpses. So hopefully we can do it on a more consistent basis.
What do you expect to see from this Bruins team? You don't have the same familiarity with them that you do with a team like Dallas.
Yeah, I think they've had some new coaching staff. Obviously last year, kind of halfway through the year, I think they've been able to implement their plan and their system, with a little bit more time, a little more traction to it. So, they got some guys having really good years. Pasternak, obviously Geekie. Their D like to move and be a part of the rush. They're getting contributions up and down the lineup. So, it's a good test for us tonight for sure.
Give me one thing that you need to key in order to have success.
Just play our game. That's it. At the end of the day, it's about us and how we play. And, when we play the way we feel we can play, we feel like we have a good chance every night.
Finally, there's the family skate yesterday. You got a couple of young boys out there. What is this time of year like for you with the holidays now that you have kids?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The Grinch was out yesterday, and I think he got a lot more love than Santa did somehow. I don't know. I guess did a lot of movies at home with the Grinch and stuff, but it's great. My son, he loves Christmas time, obviously Santa and the presents, but he was honestly more excited just to come here and skate on the ice. He loves skating here on the ice. He thinks it's the coolest thing ever. So we had a lot of fun, and he was giving the Grinch some cross checks and trying to fight the Grinch, so I had to settle him down a little bit. But no, this time of year is always fun. Christmas is the best time, family and friends, and the joyous spirit and the snow and skating outside in the outdoor rink and all that fun stuff. So this is my favorite time of the year, and it's been fun so far, and hopefully finish off strong here and have an enjoyable break when it comes.
Appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, Dylan DeMelo. I listen. For DeMelo's son to go after the Grinch, I give him a lot of credit because most kids are terrified
It's true.
of anybody in a costume of that size.
Yes.
They do not shy away. So obviously DeMelo's got something going on here, especially the cross-checking part.
Can you
Can you imagine the guy inside the costume or girl? I never signed up for this, man.
That's right. I loved when he mentioned the outdoor rinks. I was talking to Luke Shen the other day, and he mentioned that they have an outdoor rink at their place going right now. So that's a huge hit with their kids. And, when you're outdoors right now with the snow, with everything that's going on, and it's feeling much more wintry, obviously, out there than what we had at the end of November.
We were spoiled, man.
Here's something wintry.
Yeah. Good.
The
City of Winnipeg
snow clearing equipment.
Yeah.
We obviously know that it is imperative in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Well, the City of Winnipeg, you may have seen this, had put out asking for help. They had they have purchased 6 new loaders, 6 grading machines, and a team of smaller sidewalk and pathway plows. And they were looking for names. They were looking for suggestions. They put this out on social media. So there were a number of entries that went in. And they narrowed it down. I believe it was to the final 30. But here were a few, and these were with respect to potential names for the loaders.
Right.
Oh, you can't?
No, I can't see.
Oh, okay. Maybe can we? Oh, we can enlarge them. Okay. Well, I'll see which ones they
Hold
sent
on.
through to you.
Kevin, shovel snow off.
Yeah.
That's
a
good.
potential one.
Yeah. Next.
What else do we have?
Hellebuyck.
Okay.
I don't mind that. Big Buff, yes.
You just can't go wrong with that. Let's be honest.
Like, that's so simple. Like that's like number 1 on the charts right now for me.
Yeah.
And Adam Plowry.
Also good.
Really good.
So these were, and there's a number of other ones too. We just picked a few of them that were out there that are the finalists.
See, everything else of the 3 other ones, like just to play off their names, but just like Big Buff.
Yeah.
I'm getting out of the way of that.
Could you imagine what are you taking out tonight? I gotta go clear street. I got Big Buff.
Flowerson. See, good.
For it.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of them that were out there. So you can go to the City of Winnipeg website, even if you just put in City of Winnipeg naming snow plows, and you'll be able to see where you're able to vote. You can vote until the end of the month. I just thought it was a great way.
Genius, actually.
That a number of to potentially have a number of Winnipeg Jets named snowplows out there.
I mean, so we're all happy when we see the snow. We're not happy sometimes when we see the snow, but we're happy when we see the snow plows. For them to have a name, it's pretty good.
Unless you're stuck behind them. Then they move slow.
Blades of Flurry, or else you go.
Hey, that's good.
I like that because you.
See, you guys should have submitted some names. No surprise that you guys come up with some of the best ones.
I always think of Homer Simpson and Mr. Plow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about The Simpsons.
You can go into it and watch. There's a song and everything. I'm not going to sing it because we don't want to lose ratings at all.
But maybe come back on Saturday and maybe we'll sing
think
for
about
you.
it. Yeah.
Some holiday songs, some Christmas carols for it. As we wrap things up.
Yeah.
Here.
Listen, I always love the original 16s when they come here because the amount of fans, and then, yes, sometimes it stinks the other fans are here, but it's amazing how many Bruins fans are still out there to this day. Obviously a long time, been around the league for a long time. So a lot of generations of Bruins fans, but I think it's pretty cool when the original 16 comes down.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking forward to this one. What would make it better is great energy here inside here inside. We're just looking right now entering the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. One Fred Mislawchuk, TSN cameraman, who is currently watching us from some sort of warm exotic location. So
Freddie sends a bunch of photos into the media chat yesterday.
Yeah.
And like just
on a cruise.
Blows it up.
Warmth as we're sitting here trying to stay warm.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
We're glad that you tuned in.
Thanks,
I think
Freddie.
that means that once again, we've gone international. Which we love. We love to see so many of you, whether you're watching from Winnipeg or afar, as we get you set for each and every Winnipeg Jets game. Yes, give it one more time. The Velour blanket, if you are looking for a Christmas gift idea, it is available at your Jets gear stores,
right,
as well as here inside the arena. It is
Sarah
on sale right now. I wouldn't. So I worked retail. I know what a pain it would be to have to put it back.
I bet you I've folded more jeans than you have.
You absolutely have not. $29.99. It is a 60 by 70 inch plush blanket.
And I folded tons of jeans every morning. I guarantee you I folded way more jeans than you have.
Did you fold them well?
Of course I did. And in size and everything. I used to cry when people come in and just take that thing out and throw it on the pile. I'd be like, oh my God. Anyways, retail. There was no retail therapy.
That's our next. That's actually going to be, forget ground control. Forget ground control. Our next podcast is going to be about working retail in the hospitality.
The chat would be amazing about retail.
It absolutely would. Maybe we'll look at doing that Sunday, or Saturday or Monday. Vendors are here in town. Would thank Andrew Raycroft so much for joining us. Always appreciate the insight from ex-players, but really from those that cover the league.
Yeah.
So it was great. And it's always fun to do these shows with you, Jamie.
So is. I'm so glad Freddie's happy. That's all I was doing.
There you go. We all are. We're happy that you're happy too. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us in the chat. Don't forget that you can catch us each and every game day, 12:30. And if you aren't able to, then the show is available on podcast. So you can listen to it on your way home as we get you ready for the game.
Have fun, everybody.
Enjoy tonight. Thanks so much for checking in.